Hey everyone, welcome back to another Blu-ray update. Thank you for joining me on this channel again. This video we're going to look at the Blu-ray purchases that have been made in October and November. Here's a quick glance. There's a few to get through. Excuse the cat toys and the cats. Yeah, there's a few to get through. Quite a good variety here, so I'm looking forward to showing everyone what's been purchased. I'd like to see some comments, recommendations, that kind of things, just people's general opinion. It's always good to see some feedback. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack on. So we're starting off with Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. Next up, we've got an artificial eye release. This is Deborah Grank's Winter's Bone with Jennifer Lawrence, as you can see. Here we've got a nice Poundland pickup. It's The Walk by Robert Zemeckis. This next one's a Chinese film called True Legend from director Yuen Woo-ping. Here's a nostalgic classic, the original Transformers the movie, the animated film. Just thought I'd show you the slipcover and what I believe is the original artwork. This is a real blast of nostalgia for me. Next up we've got Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water. Here we've got Brian De Palma's Raising Cain. Next up we've got a film called Ruined Hearts. This is a Filipino film from a director called Carven, starring the amazing Japanese actor Tadanobu Asano. Found this one for an absolute steal at CEX for about £5, which include the slipcover. Great stuff. Here we've got another Darren Aronofsky film. This one's called Pi, a great film about a maths genius. This is one of Sergio Leone's best and one of Robert De Niro's best as well. The epic Once Upon a Time in America. Here we've got the film Ninja, starring the one and only Scott Adkins. This here is Micmacs from the French auteur Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Next up is Dario Argento's The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, one of Argento's earliest and finest films. Here we've got Revenge, which is a debut film from director Coralie Farguit. Watched this recently. Pretty brutal stuff. Much along the lines of I Spit on Your Grave, but I enjoyed it. Pretty good stuff. Here we've got an Arrow Academy release from director Mohsen Makhmalbaf. This contains 3 films, Gabar, The Silence and The Gardener, which have been grouped together in this release. It's known as the Poetic Trilogy. Here we've got an excellent science fiction film from Canadian director Denis Villeneuve. This is Arrival, highly recommended. Next up we've got 28 Weeks Later. This is the slightly lackluster follow-up to the amazing 28 Weeks Later, but a solid zombie flick through and through. Here's a film bought in time for Halloween. This is the horror film Clown. Not directed by Eli Roth, but produced by him. Here we've got the first of a few special editions that I've been buying. This is Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead, an excellent Italian horror film. Next up, we've got a fascinating box set from the distribution company Second Run. This is called From Lift to the Road. As you can see, it's the film of director Mark Isaacs. So this has got 9 of his feature-length documentaries, plus basically, as far as I can tell, it's all the work he's ever made, including all of his short films. But the 9 feature-length films are Lift, Travellers, Calais the Last Border, All White Embarking, Men of the City, Someday My Prince Will Come, Philip and His 7 Wives, Outside the Court, and The Road, A Story of Life and Death. Just quickly show you the contents. If you enjoy documentaries at all, this is fascinating selection of works. A talented British director, well worth checking out, and I think you can pick the box set up for like 20-25 quid. Sorry about the glare here, folks. This is the atmospheric horror film It Comes at Night. Here we've got the fantastic Hereditary from a director I'm not familiar with called Ari Aster. I shall definitely be looking at his future work though. Here we've got a classic from Francis Ford Coppola, The Conversation. Next up we've got a British film. It's called Catch Me Daddy. This is from directors Daniel and Matthew Wolfe. This one came recommended. I've not watched it yet. Don't know quite what to expect, but I'm looking forward to it. Here we've got a contemporary Italian classic, Il Postino, aka The Postman. This is a lovely, heartwarming film. Highly recommended. Next up we've got a fantastic release from Indicator. This is the special edition of Night of the Demon from, I believe, 1957. Next up we've got a few which I picked up from a friend of mine, the same friend who was selling his film collection last month. These were just the last few that I bought from him, just because they're alright, you know, they're alright for a bit of a laugh. As you can see, we've got the Riddick films, so you've got Pitch Black, The Chronicles of Riddick, and Riddick. Here we've got another of the Arrow limited edition box sets. This one is the classic horror film Candyman, based on Clive Barker character. Excellent soundtrack from Philip Glass as well. Great film, great release. It seems like Luna's come to join us. She wants to be in the video again. Anyway, next up we've got a film called These Final Hours. This is an Australian film about the end of the world. Well recommended, apart from it doesn't appear to have been released in the UK. So, obviously the Australian and the American versions are both region free. However, I found this Canadian release for a fraction of the price on eBay. Now this version is unfortunately region locked to anyone who doesn't have the multi-region players, but you can get it in the UK. This is an amazing film. It's well worth seeing. Next up we've got another Filipino film. This one's called Buy Bust. This one was bought based on reviews that I'd read. A lot of people comparing it to The Raid. Gonna be honest, it's nothing like The Raid. However, it is pretty good, and because it's a Well Go USA release from America, this one's region free. If you're into action films, it's definitely worth seeing. Next up we've got Mandy. This one's been getting a lot of praise. It's pretty good. I'd recommend it. Whether it'll be a comeback for Nicolas Cage, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But it's I can see why it's getting the attention it's receiving, because it's a well-made film. Okay, next up we've got a Eureka box set. So this is Jackie Chan's Project A, parts 1 and 2. Love these box sets from Eureka. Please, please, please keep making them. This is exactly the kind of Asian films that we really want to get and just don't get decent releases almost anywhere in the world. If you're listening, Eureka, please release some of the early works of John Woo. That would be amazing. But I'll take what I can get for the time being. If you're into Jackie Chan, this is some of his finest work. The Police Story box set, which came out a few months ago, is also epically good. Yeah, great stuff. Let's have more, please. Next up, we've got a horror film, The House of the Devil, from director T. West. Here we've got an Indonesian horror film called Ritual from director Joko Anwar. This one was imported from the US. Next up we've got an amazing film. This is, as you can see, the debut film from director called Seibu. It's a Japanese film called Danganronpa. If anyone's familiar with a German film called Run Lola Run, this is the inspiration for it. Great release from Third Window Films. Well, I had to pick this one up because there's something about the Jurassic Park films which I love. Yeah, so here we've got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Okay, next up, this was in like the Black Friday deals. an epic trilogy from Polish director Krzysztof Kieslowski. So this is a great release from Artificial Eye. As you can see, it's called the Three Colours Trilogy. You've got blue, white and red. Yeah, these are amazing films. They're sort of highly renowned. Difficult to describe. They're like human dramas. My words aren't going to do it any justice. If you've got a vague interest in seeing really good films, you should definitely check out this trilogy. Next up, we've got Rampage with Dwayne Johnson, another Black Friday reduction. Next up, we've got some films bought just in time for Christmas. Absolute classics here. Got The Snowman and its sequel, The Snowman and the Snow Dog. This is a lovely little collection. These again, more certainly the original, The Snowman, more of a nostalgic hit for me, but yeah, something to watch on Christmas Day, I think. Another Christmas film to add to the collection. This is the one and only Elf, starring Will Ferrell from Jon Favreau. Surprised didn't have this one in the collection already. My wife said to me that she wanted me to buy more Christmas films, and I don't need to be asked to buy Blu-rays twice, so I ordered them straight away. Next up, we've got the Muppets collection. So, as you can see, this collection's got 6 Muppet films. So, it's got like the original Muppet movie. Then it's got some of the ones that came in like the 80s and the 90s. It's got The Great Muppet Caper, Muppet Treasure Island. The real reason that I bought this was for the next one, Muppet Christmas Carol. That's like my wife's favourite ever Christmas film. It's also got the 2 contemporary Muppet films. So you got, as you can see on the left, the Muppets and then Muppets Most Wanted. Yeah, wow, a lot of Muppet films. Can't say I've seen any of these apart from Muppet Christmas Carol. As I say, it's my wife's favourite Christmas films. She feels it necessary to watch every single Christmas Eve, but hey, it's pretty good. And it's also a good opportunity to give a shout out to the one and only Kermit's Ghost. Okay, next up, this is another Black Friday deal, picked up pretty cheap, from 1973. This is Papillon with Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman, a great sort of prison escape film. Here we've got a Chinese war film from director Dante Lam. This is Operation Red Sea. Didn't pick this one up when it first came out because I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it or not. I only grabbed this one a few days ago, so I've not had a chance to watch it yet. This is, of course, Kenneth Branagh's recent remake of Murder on the Orient Express. Here's a World War I film, which I've been wanting to watch for some time. This one came highly recommended. It's called Journey's End. Now, this is an interesting pickup. I am becoming a big fan of Second Run. They've got a slightly limited Blu-ray catalogue. However, they do seem to be releasing films more frequently now, which is great. And I really want to start diving into their back catalogue because there's some amazing looking films. This one is a 1958 black and white. It's part film, part stop animation. It's a film from the old Czechoslovakia. As you can see, it's called Invention for Destruction. Right, last but not least, these were pickups that have come out over the last 2 months. So these are all sort of brand new restorations from classic John Carpenter films, all his 80s films, which is probably the best decade to go at if you want some, amazing John Carpenter films. As you can see, from left to right, we've got The Fog, They Live, Escape from New York, and Prince of Darkness. All highly, highly recommended. Carpenter is probably one of my favourite directors of all time. I'm weighing up whether it's Escape from New York or one of his other films, The Thing, which is possibly my favourite. But I love all of these films. Great. Yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the video. As you can see, unfortunately with these, I'm not normally one to be sort of peeved about this kind of thing, but all of these releases arrived with slipcovers, as you can see. I apart from the fog. So I'm now trying to get my hands on one just so it looks more like a complete collection. Normally slipcovers don't bother me that much, but I think, you know, as there's like 4 of these sort of specially released, it would just look nice. But hey ho, I'll probably try and email Studio Canal and see if I can get my hands on one. Not got my hopes up on that, but we'll see. Okay, so that is the end of the video. So that was all the pickups from October and November. Got a few pre-orders coming in December. Looking forward. There's a Eureka box set for anyone who knows their releases. They'll probably know which one I'm on about. That comes out mid-December. Looking forward to that one. There's another Marvel film, you know, Ant-Man, that's coming out soon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe. I'm not really too you know, too fussed about sort of gaining like loads of attention to this channel. I just like making these videos. So thank you very much for watching and have a pleasant rest of your day.